Hello, everyone. Welcome to Money Intelligence with Coach Bree. I am a financial coach girly and future accountant in these career streets. I am also a blogger and decided to create a safe space for clients and everyone to listen in on in order to get coaching for finances, motivations to save, and options to help you pay off debt, all while helping you increase your income. Come and sit and chat with me. Let's talk about personal finances, travel, parenting, side hustles, movies, and everything in between, honey. I love this for you. Disclaimer, just so you know, I am a no ceilings coach, which means I can ramble sometimes with the big ideas, and I leave in my truth unapologetically. Word of advice, I encourage you to do the same. So while listening in, please think about your own situation and how this information can bring you to a grounded place within your finances. Not be a substitute for a current relationship that you may have with a financial service provider, like an investment banker. If you would like a one-on-one session or want to visit my group events, I'll give you a little bit of information a little later. Oh Sunday, why do you be? So when I think about Sunday, right? Yes, it's a day at the end of the week or the beginning of the week, if you're Coach Bree. I like to think about Sunday as a reset or maintenance day. And on this day, I like to focus on care items such as self care, house care, which includes cleaning, laundry, things like that, but also financial care. Take care of them coins because them coins will always and forever take care of you, right? So while you're listening in on this Sunday session, think about what self care means to you. What does financial care mean to you? And then think about how your own care routine can be adapted or changed. Or if you don't have one, maybe about how you could get one. Okay, so we'll dive into a little bit of financial care and how to prepare for your week, just to set yourself up for success for the next coming week. Right? I will give you some budget friendly ideas for self care and all right, a little bit of motivation for your headspace. Life is a question, and how we decide to live is our answer. Life is a question, and how we decide to live it is the answer to said question. Good stuff, right? All right, so let's prep for the week. Okay, so think about your routine, your current routine, and try to imagine what your week could look like with and without that routine, right? But also think about what things do you need to get ready for today? What items do you possibly have to purchase now, like toilet paper and laundry soap? And what items can wait, like a new set of nail polish colors, right? So, in my experience, just a little backstory, and this is based off of my current client roster. I found that when my clients and I financially plan for the week, the bye week, or the month, on average they save. Okay. Most times, this is because if you don't prep for your week, you have to make quick and sometimes uneducated decisions that may not be beneficial for your wallet. Whereas if you go ahead and prep, you will at least be prepared and have a seamless week. Now hold on. Don't hold me to that, because that is not to say that you might not have a little drama with your coworker that's talking behind your back or in your business, okay? But at least you know your finances will be in place to give you one less thing to worry about. Dang, I like that. Funny story. I shocked my client last weekend. I said, because we had been working together for some time now. And I said, Brody, I don't know if you realize, but me planning out, us planning out your financial month in the last 3 months, you've saved $1,200. And then I said, oh, what are you going to do with that $1,200? Put down towards my new Range Rover? He laughed because he's not. So let's just take some time today to focus on some financial decisions for the week ahead, which is going to be our part of. So when it comes to decisions for your, you of course have to think about your own situation, right? But how will your spending be for food for the week? Can your budget allow for takeout every lunch? Or will you be prepping an at home lunch? And then once you decide that, right, based off of your situation, what's the difference in cost? Because the reality is, small things can add up to big numbers. And I always say, pennies turn to nickels, nickels turn to dimes. And it keeps going into eventually you're rolling in dough, right? So speaking to the lunch portion, right? So I'm thinking about my situation. Okay. And months ago, when I was in an environment where I had to be partially in office and partially at home, I would still go into office 3 times a week. That does incur cost, right? I was spending gas, right? Had to jump 3 highways, mind you. So the weeks that I decided to go into office, my costs were heavier that week. And I'm a very macroeconomics, personal finance type girl. I'm gonna look at every penny. You know, sometimes people like to look at the big scale, only on the thousands. Not I, because small things add up, and this is why. So when I would go into office 3 times a week, I had a major routine. At lunch, I would walk around my building to get my little exercise in, but then I would shoot over to the little convenience store and grab 3 things. Always a smoothie yogurt or a regular yogurt, a water, and a granola bar. Okay. Whether that was a hard and chewy granola bar or like almost like Fig Newton style, that was my 3 things. And then if I'm really hungry, I would spend $10 each day I decided to have lunch. Okay. Now, mind you, I was going into office 3 times a week. That means I was spending $30 per week extra on top of gas, with like the commute and anything I needed for driving and those things. So overall, I sat down to my expenses and I said, oh wow, I spent $120 this month on just in office lunch. That's not counting that I still had to prep lunch for at home days, right? So that's them little numbers adding up, right? Because $10 seems like, $10. When you're doing it 3 times a week, okay, $30. But then you do it next week. Now you spent 60. And you do that 2 more times, now you're at 120. So I said to myself, what is the change that I can make? Right? So I sat down one Sunday and I said, you know what? Instead of going to the convenience store, I'm just going to go ahead and prep my entire week. So I walked into my local grocery store. And for the price that I paid for one fancy schmancy granola bar at the convenience store, I was able to buy a whole entire 18 pack of off brand granola bars. And when I tell you they're still bussin', they're still bussin'. Okay? So I kept a case of waters. I eventually changed that case of waters into just getting me a refillable water bottle that filters out water. Okay. An investment. Overall, for the entire month, once I started prepping that way and buying my yogurts in bulk and buying my granola in bulk and just prepping, right? I saved $100 for 1 month. I did this for 3 months, and all the money that I decided, like, oh, you were going to spend it anyway, I put it into a third, not a secondary, a third savings account. And we'll get into banking in one of these episodes. Don't hold me to it. So, by the time 3 months had rolled by, I had $300 in that bank account. And that was just because I changed my mindset on how my lunch would go. Okay. Mindset is very important. And it's so funny because remember previously I was just saying that I asked my client, like, what would you do with the extra $1,200? And he kind of joked it off and kind of blushed and he didn't know. Me, that $300 I saved, I went out of town, honey. Okay? But regardless, right? That's $300 that was saved and put towards something else. Because food is one of those things, once you eat it, it's gone. The money is gone, the feeling's gone, the food is gone. Boom. You have no investment for it. You have no return. Unless you're like a baker or something and you sell, cakes and stuff like that. But the reality is those are one of those exorbitant costs that you need, right? But you could always lessen. There's always a way to lessen it. Even if you think, oh, all I eat is ramen every day, there's a way to lessen it. And that's what I did. And that helped me enjoy a small vacation getaway, which I did enjoy. And if you haven't seen it, I do have it posted up on my blog. I went to Lake Charles, Louisiana. And it was amazing. I won the jackpot. But I'm going to... Okay, so, self-care, right? Because Sunday has that... I don't know. For me, it has that self-care vibe. That's the day I give myself a fake. My nails. Here's what I found. Ignore Siri. And I just kind of reset because I do work for a few hours on Sunday. I do have a client base from 8 to 12 p.m. I don't work very long on Sunday. But the very next day, I return back to all schooling and all employment work, plus all freelance or professional services work. So I'm a girl who needs my Sundays, okay? And I'm going to need my Sundays no matter what goes on, okay? So when that comes to it, I'm going to make Sunday self-care always work out for me. Okay? Even if my budget is tapped and I'm looking at $0 left to spend, I'm going to make something work to put myself in that self-care feeling. And that's okay. Because there are so many low-cost ideas when it comes to self-care and how you choose to self-honor, which I like to think of self-care as self-honor, and kind of put you in that headspace. And I have a few very important things that I touch up on Sunday. Yeah. You know, self care puts everyone in a mental well being. And I just want to return to work and school with lifted vibes. Yeah. And to be honest, most jobs, no matter what job you're in, they could be physically sometimes, but always mentally absorbent. Unless you're like a professional hugger or something, you know? So, you know, giving yourself up to take on the week is so important. So, let's reflect your routine. So, why do you do it? Do you do self-care alone, or are you that type that kind of do group self-care? Yeah. Remember, a self-care routine, again, it does not have to cost a lot. You're talking to a penny pincher, honey. Okay? I will always give you budget friendly cost things to do. Now, that's not to say you won't hear about my lifestyle blog about how I went and got a micro pill for $100. But that was something I did after I had saved up, right? So, what are some low cost self care ideas? Here are ones that I do all the time. And I do number one every day. Not necessarily to the T, but I do it every day. A stroll into a new territory, to visit a never seen park, a lake, a river, or I don't know, like just some part that maybe has deer running around. If you didn't know, walking can relieve stress. The American Heart Association suggests that walking 30 minutes a day can dramatically reduce trauma, meaning like heart problems, mood, and elevate your glory, right? A brisk walk makes me feel like, and if you didn't know, the American Heart Association has a National Walk Day. So this is a low cost idea. And I told you I love facial mask and like skincare, which I feel like skincare is definitely self care, right? So I love to create a mask. Now, I have a bunch of masks that come out of a pack and I smoosh it onto my face. But there's times where my budget does not allow for me to purchase absolutely zero things else. And I'm going to hold to that. So then I'll create a food mask. Coach Bree, what's a food mask? So to save on cost sometimes, I'll take food that I have on hand and make my facial mask. I had a client who says one of my facial masks I told her about, she uses on her legs and it makes them summer smooth ready. So turmeric and a squeeze of lemon, that's one of my favorite. It diminishes dark spots. It can diminish acne or chicken pox scars. It also makes for a nice even skin tone. I wouldn't recommend an orange. Okay. Another one is avocado and honey. Even if you don't have avocado in hand, avocado's like $2. Find acorns. Okay. Avocado and a little bit of honey is said to diminish acne scars, blemishes, but also give you another self-care routine, especially if you work on your feet, and you have like a more physically laboring job. A Listerine, yes, mouthwash, or Epsom salt foot soak can actually help soften, relieve pressure, and help you remove dead skin from your feet. And I'm pretty sure everybody has at least one of those items in their home right now. If you don't have it, does your neighbor have a little bit of Listerine? Good soap going? Now look, you know, I just gave you wonderful ideas on how to self-care for little to no cost. And that's why I'm Coach Bree. And that's why I love the money and I love the macro. And yeah, because there's always a way around something. It takes time, it takes practice, like anything. You don't just wave your hand and now you're filthy rich, right? And you work at it every day. And you don't just save for events, you save because you save. I do save for events, but that's saving outside of my savings. And that's why I keep 3 accounts. And we'll talk about baking in another episode. Don't hold me to it. The thought for today is to remember to take some time each week to give your finances some financial care. Think about the small things. Think about how much will affect your wallet this week. Think about how your commute to work will affect your wallet this week. Because when you put thought into those things and you actually put forth towards something, it flourishes. A little bit thought for your headspace. Whatever you water, it grows. Water them finances and watch them grow. Thank you for listening in with me. Coach Bree coming to you live. You can join every Sunday and Thursday to hear new ideas, new big ideas, business. Let's talk finances. Let's talk income. Let's talk about movies. Whatever and whenever I can save you $1, I will.